One of the most important parts of the highway code is the introduction. So many pupils ask me, what is the driving test all about? What is it that the examiner is actually looking for? And normally I say, okay, so I asked you to read the highway code from the front cover to the back cover. Did you read the introduction? And the usual response is, no, I jumped forward to the driving section because they think it's all about driving the car. So I'll just read the introduction for you, and this is what you should be thinking about from your early lessons, and particularly as you approach your driving test. So, introduction. This highway code applies to England, Scotland and Wales. The highway code is essential reading for everyone. So essential means everybody should read it. That includes pedestrians, cyclists, invalid carriages, car drivers. Everybody should know the highway code. Even walking on the road, you still should know the rules. The most vulnerable road users are pedestrians, particularly children, older or disabled people, cyclists, motorcyclists and horse riders. It is important that all road users are aware of the code and are considerate towards each other. This applies to pedestrians as much as to drivers and riders. The only trouble is we can't enforce this. People will walk and people will ride bikes, and we haven't got enough officers to make sure they comply with the rules. So as drivers we have to be responsible and look after those who aren't as knowledgeable as we will be. Many of the rules in the code are legal requirements, and if you disobey these rules you are committing a criminal offence. You may be fined, given penalty points on your driving licence, or be disqualified from driving. In the most serious cases you may be sent to prison. Such rules are identified by the use of the words must and must not, and these are in red to highlight them, and these are legal requirements. So on a driving test, if you break those rules, the examiner has to fail you because you've broken the law. So when you come across any of the rules that say must and must not, you must thoroughly understand them and you must apply them on a driving test with no exceptions. In addition, the rules include an abbreviated reference to the legislation which creates the offence. An explanation of the abbreviations is on page 124. This is the fine print, and these are the laws that apply to the UK. Although failure to comply with the other rules of the code will not in itself cause a person to be prosecuted, the highway code may be used in evidence in any court proceedings under the Traffic Acts, see page 124, which are the Traffic Acts, to establish a liability. So this includes rules which use advisory words in such as should and should not, or do and do not. Now if you break these rules on a driving test, you would normally fail your driving test because you're not following the good advice. But depending on the situations you might get away with a minor fault. But I would not push your luck. If it says should or should not, do or do not, then you do not break that rule on a driving test. Again, without exception, you'll certainly pick up a minor and normally a failure. Now this is the examiner's job. Knowing and applying the rules contained in the highway code could significantly reduce road casualties. This is the examiner's job. He's trying to significantly reduce road casualties. Cutting the number of deaths and injuries that occur on our roads every day is a responsibility we all share. The examiner is looking for a responsible driver. A responsible driver knows the highway code and applies it. The highway code can help us discharge that responsibility. Further information on driving, riding techniques can be found in the official DVS guide to driving. The essential skills, and the official DVSA guide to riding, the essential skills for riders. So these are very good manuals. These are basically the manuals we use as instructors, and this expands on the highway code and explains why the rules are there and how they should be applied. So I would recommend that you pick up one of the essential skills books from the DVSA.